and before joining ICIRR, she was Family Empowerment Program Director at Arab American Action Network for about 12 years. And like I said, in 2006, she joined ICIRR. She's going to go into details about the legislation that we're pushing for, and then she's going to do role-playing with Suzanne Akris on what you're going to be saying to your representative. So they're going to model that for you guys, and then what we'll do is we'll take about 10 minutes, each one of you, with someone next to you, a partner, meeting, what would you say? Because like I said, I think that's the most important part of Muslim Action Days, being able to interact with your representative and advocating for what you want to see happen. Okay? So, yeah.
Thank you very much, Isma. Assalamu alaikum, everybody. Thank you very much for coming today. We really appreciate the time you're committing for a Saturday where you can be home with your family and your children. So I'm just going to quickly kind of give you some bullet points on how to address your legislators before we start talking about the bills themselves.
Can you give the bullet points on the microphone?
Yes, I can. So when you're in Springfield on April 22nd, we're going to have a very long day, by the way. So make sure you wear very comfortable shoes. Make sure you have some money so you can have lunch. But it's going to be a very packed schedule. And maybe, I don't know if everybody has a schedule for that day.
We still have to get that one.
Okay. So a couple of things. There's two different places that you might see your legislators. Either in their offices, which would be the best space to actually sit down and talk to them. But what you need to do is actually call, literally on this coming Monday.
We're actually doing that.
You're doing that.
We've been trying to make the calls, but none of them have their calendars yet.
Okay.
So we're going to try to make the calls this upcoming week.
Okay.
And try to get the scheduling, and then what we're hoping is on the day off we can tell people.
Wonderful.
You have the meeting already set.
Okay, great.
So they
So,
don't even have to worry about doing that.
okay, so Asma's doing that for us. She's going to set up our meetings for us, which is really wonderful. So if you get to see them actually in their offices, that's a totally different environment than trying to see them when you're trying to pull them out of session. And I'm going to talk a little bit about that later as well, and how to do that specifically. So when we're addressing our legislators, the first thing we have to make sure that we do is we address them properly. So if it's a senator, it's going to be, good afternoon, Senator Collins. If it's a representative, good afternoon, representative. I've made many mistakes, and I would call a rep a senator or vice versa, because I get confused. They all look the same sometimes. So just make sure, and they get really upset if you don't address them properly. They get extremely upset. The second thing, which is very, very important, is make sure, as soon as you say, good afternoon, senator or representative, that immediately you're giving them your name. So, my name is Hlam Jabara. I'm with the Moss Foundation in Ridgeview, Illinois. And we're here with the CIOGC for Muslim Action Day. And if you live in their district, make sure that they know that you live in their district, so that they know that you're aware, and that you know that they are your public servant, right? Inform them that you are there with Muslim Action Day. That's even more important than anything else. We are here with Muslim Action Day. We have 1,000 Muslims from across the state that are here to advocate on issues that we care about. Okay? Let them know what mosques, what Muslim schools are in their areas. If you have kids that go to the schools in their areas, that's very important as well. And then be very brief. We're going to start talking about the issues, right? Because that's what we're there for. We have to be very brief, explicit, be very concise, and make sure that you know the issues that we're advocating for. That's very important. Because a lot of, sometimes the legislator may say, well, why do you want Arabic in the schools? We already have like 5 or 6 other languages being offered. How do you respond to that? If you don't know what's in the bill, then you can't respond to it, right? And lastly, each of you is going to have a packet. Your leaders are going to have packets. So at the end, you're going to give them the packet and say, here's more information on the issues that we're advocating for, more information on our organizations. We will, contact you for follow-up. Or if you have any questions, make sure that you have, a card. Make sure that you have your card. Did I turn it off? Make sure that you have a card, a business card, or that you have on a little piece of papers, like quite a few of them, your name, your institution and your cell phone numbers and your email address. So if you have any questions, here's my contact information. Feel free to email me or call me so that I can respond. And if you don't know any of the questions that they ask you, don't be afraid to say, I don't know, but I can check for you and I will follow up with you. And then at the end, we thank them. Thank you very much for your time, and we hope to see you soon, right? So just being courteous, being very clear. A lot of times they're rushing, especially if the meeting is not in their office, but it's actually at the rail, you're pulling them out of session. We have to be really quick, but also make sure that we get our points across to them. Any questions on that?
So you can pull them out of session?
We can.
Turn it down.
So if ESMA doesn't hear back from the staff of the legislators for meetings,
Yeah.
what we're going to have to do, and how many of you went to some lobby day last year? Okay. Did you see legislators in their offices?
No, we ended up pulling them out.
You had to pull them. What did you do, ESMA?
We ended up having the security personnel, right, who wrote their name on the card. Security personnel would go in and say, this person from the government wants to see you. Can you come out? And then we just waited. We just ended up waiting. If they decided to come out, they decided to come out. They did.
So we might not be able to actually get meetings with them. They're booked completely. They're trying to get out of session by May 7th. That's what I've been hearing, Sam Rain. Last time I was in Springfield, everybody said, we're going to be out of here by May 7th. We're not going to discuss the budget. Some of them said, we don't have, yes.
After you finish.
Okay. Some of them said, we're probably not going to pass the budget until November. So a lot of them will be very honest and very direct about that. And others will say, we'll see what happens. So trying to get a meeting with them is going to be very difficult. And a lot of times, people don't usually get meetings. And on that day specifically, there's another action day as well in Springfield. So we're going to have a bunch of youth, in the state capitol building advocating for their youth programs in the state. So it's going to be very crowded. In terms of pulling them out, so it's on the 3rd floor, for those of you who've never been there, on the 3rd floor of the state capitol building. And then we have one side which is for the House, and the other side which is for the Senate. And there's going to be a big rail in the middle. So a lot of times people say, I'll be up at the rail. You're going to see a lot of lobbyists just standing around, a lot of advocates just standing around waiting to get their legislators out of the House floor or the Senate chambers. And at that time, like Esma said, that's why the cards are very important. And if you don't have business cards, have little pieces of paper. I'll bring Post-its with me, for those who don't have business cards. So you have your name and your contact information on there, and the institution that you are with, and you give it to the security guards, in front of the chambers, and they will take it into your legislator. Sometimes you're waiting 2 minutes. Sometimes you're going to wait 10 minutes, 20 minutes. I give up at 45 minutes and I just leave. If one of their bills are up, they're not going to come out. If it's a bill that they're okay with, it's not time to vote for, it's not something that they really care about a great deal, they'll come out and they'll talk to you. And that's when they're going to be in a really big rush. They'll stand next to you, they'll be kind of listening, halfway listening. That's why it's important to be loud and be very clear and be very concise about why you're there and who you're there with. It's really fun, it's really exciting, I love doing it. That's why I'm always there. I'm addicted to going to Springfield now and talking to my legislators. But it's tiring and it's exhausting, but it's powerful as well. And last year when we had Muslim Action Day, I was really, really happy to see, all these, young women with the hijab.